Major AC compressor failure. Now what do we do? Alright, we had a catastrophic AC compressor failure on this old Civic. There's your compressor right down there. Typically when that happens, it's going to send debris throughout the whole system, and that needs to be taken care of. Now I'm going to fix this. I don't have time to film it, but I'm going to fix it, and we'll come back and I'll tell you what I did to correct this issue. Alright, step one, remove engine. Just kidding. But I am trying to remove everything I can. I still have to remove the evap core in there. I got most of the lines and condenser out so far, but I wanted to show you, hopefully you can see, well, let me get a better shot. Right down in there, can you see all the metal shavings right there? Hopefully they're glistening. And then they're over there too, if I can get a shot. See if I can get the light to cooperate. It's way down in there, it's hard to see. But there's definitely metal down on the other side too. You can just barely see it. So that's what happens when they catastrophically go out. They send those metal flakes throughout your whole system. I won't mention any names of whose product this is, but you can come to your own conclusions. And that's why I'm going with as many Denso products as I can, especially the compressor. So we're going with a Denso compressor made in Japan. Now when you see damage like that, just about everything in the AC system needs to be replaced. That's the best way to do it. Those metal shavings and gray matter will get everywhere in your system. You can try cleaning out components, but typically that doesn't work. Now you can clean metal lines like this one. I pulled all the lines out, so all the lines all the way to the evaporator out except for this one. There's too many plastic clips right back there, and if I pull it off I'll break every single one of them. So I'll just put some solvent right there and run it out and clean this one on the car. The rest of them, you can see I got my line of parts. The rest of them are going to be cleaned off the car or replaced. And you can see that right there tells the story. We shouldn't see gray crap coming out of our AC lines. I was able to get 2 new hoses and then 1 metal line, so those are all going to be new. And then all the metal lines, the ones that I got off the car, I'll clean them off the car. That 1 metal line I'll clean on the car. And then every other component in the AC system is getting replaced except for the 2 sensors, the AC temperature sensor and then the pressure sensor. Those 2 I'll reuse. Everything else is new. Alright, everything's out of the vehicle as far as the AC system. You can see there's the parts, there's the evap core. I got to take it apart, put the new one in there, and see everything's out of there. Now it's just a matter of clean up all these lines, the ones that I'm not replacing, and I got to get everything swapped over to this. Alright, I ran some solvent through that line right there. If you can see, well, you can tell how gray the water is, but all the little metal flakes down there. Definitely lots of metal throughout this whole system, and it's difficult to get that out of components. That's why I just replace all the components and then replace all the lines that I can, and the remaining ones you can usually flush out. It just takes some time because they're nice and smooth, but components, yeah, that doesn't work. I just use this cheap little AC flush gun. Has a regulator and a little ball valve. It's pretty nice. I got it on Amazon. I'll put a link to it. Has a little hook right there. You can hook it. I just run the solvent through into a bucket, and then you just put a little bit of solvent through there, and then after that run a bunch of air through there so it dries it out. And that's all I do, and you got to do that for each piece. Well, there you go. This is what I took out of the system. A lot of garbage and metal shavings in there. Lots of stuff. It's like I'm mining for silver. And these were just the lines because I replaced all the components, so this was just a couple of lines that I had to clean out. Well, there it is. It's all put back together. A lot of shiny new parts. With the exception of the battery. I need to get a new battery tomorrow, so we'll do that tomorrow. It's late, so I'm going to be calling it a day. I did put the gauges on there. I'm going to put it under a vacuum. I'll let it vacuum for a while, get any moisture that we introduced into the system out. And then tomorrow we'll go at it bright and fresh and we'll see if this thing works. Alright, here's all the carnage. These are typically the parts I replace whenever we have a catastrophic failure like this. We got a new evaporator core, we got a new expansion valve, we got a new receiver dryer. Several lines were replaced, that's all I could get, they were aftermarket. Of course we got a new condenser, every single O-ring was replaced, and of course the compressor that failed was replaced. And yeah, that's typically what I do in order to fix this. Alright, it's a new day, we got a new battery installed, now we just need to get this thing recharged. And we'll just look at our specifications here for our charge. We got a min and a max. We always want to charge these Hondas to the max, which is 0.650 kilograms on this one, or 22.9 ounces. And that's 0.650. We don't want to get that wrong. Not bad for this old Civic. I'll take 45. With most of the solvent gone, we can see how much metal is in there. And that was just in the lines that I cleaned out. There's no telling how much crap is in these components here. Well, looks like she's going to live to see another day. I'll take 44 to 46 degrees sitting at an idle on these old Civics any day. Well, there you go. That's how I fix these systems when we have a major AC compressor failure like we had on this vehicle. Now you may ask yourself, how did I know it was bad? Well, I hooked up the gauges and I saw that we had refrigerant in the system, at least enough to have it all pressurized, and I activated the compressor and it wouldn't do anything. Nothing, not at all. I saw the compressor clutch engage and it wasn't doing anything. No pressure changes on my gauges at all, and also there were no load changes on the engine. Usually the engine is gonna see a little bit of a load, and then the computer will add a little bit more fuel, raise the RPMs to adjust for it. Well, the computer was adjusting for the load, but there was no load being placed on it, so it was actually causing the RPMs to go up a little higher. Now, I recovered the refrigerant and then I put the refrigerant back in just to make sure it wasn't too low to engage, and I verified that it wasn't. That was kind of a long shot just to make sure, but it was full. The refrigerant was full, so that was not the issue. Now, you can also verify it by removing the lines and looking in there and taking a Q-tip and just wiping the inside of the ends of the connections on these lines, and you'll see that it's all black or gray. That's another way to verify it, but you have to remove the refrigerant to do that. I should mention that everything I did and showed in this video, I had already safely removed the refrigerant with my AC recovery machine, so the refrigerant was already out by the time I started filming. But hey, in any event, if this video helped you, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.